Now, I'm going to go on a limb, and I guess I got to put this down as one of my predictions because I don't think he'll win it this year. If he doesn't win it this year, if Luka Doncic doesn't win it this year, I think he wins it next year. I think Luka, if he again, this is if he's healthy. If he's healthy, that plays a huge factor in there. If he's healthy, I think he wins it next year. So I'll put that as one of my predictions. 2024 NBA MVP.
Okay,
yes.
So if you're picking Luka in it, then I'm gonna say my last one, which is John Morant. Because I feel like
that's a good one.
Because I feel like the reason why I didn't put John Morant in it is because Memphis can survive without him. Like they do well without him. They're obviously their offense changes, and different guys get more opportunities to take shots or show their offensive capabilities. But John Morant is one of those, like, if John Morant is in, like, that's a different Memphis team. He's the catalyst. He's the guy, like, in a sense, like Luka, he's pushing. And would you almost say that Luka and Ja are kind of in the same boat where they both have excellent, like they both have really good role players, but they need another superstar?
Yes.
Would you put them in that boat together? I know Luka probably needs one more than Ja, just by like
that's where
the roster build. But I'm saying, would you still put them in the same boat? Like they both do really well. Their team goes as far as they go, but they need that. I just want that baseline. I know Ja got a better supporting cast.
The only thing
on paper.
The only reason I didn't want to go with Ja here is because I think
antics.
It's Ja is he's a scorer. He's gonna go out there, he's gonna get his points. And if you look, his assists are still pretty high. I was gonna say before I looked it up, he's not looking to pass as much as Luka has this year. Luka's passing a little bit more, but I just looked up his assists and he only averages 8 a game. So he is passing, but that's what I thought when I saw him play, is kind of like he's more than Luka, a shoot first person. But again, Luka is a very much shoot first person too. So I guess I don't have anything to say about, I guess I have no pushback about why he couldn't be MVP.
Well, the only thing I was going to say, to me, that puts Ja over Luka, and this is just a slight nod, is Luka doesn't play defense like Ja does. Ja plays better defense to me, and he's a better help defender, and he's a better one-on-one defender than Luka is. Luka, like Jason Kidd does a great job of putting Luka in positions where he's guarding the third best player or the fourth best player, but it also sucks because Luka can get extorted by, if you got a big power forward or a guy like an Anthony Davis, you don't want Luka guarding him, but in certain cases, depending on where you position Anthony Davis or somebody of that caliber, Luka's going to guard him, especially if you play in a zone defense. You know what I mean? Like, you put people in a particular spot and you don't want him being up top, but you also got to factor in, can he guard somebody down at the block? It ain't going to happen like that. So to me, Ja's a little bit better of a defender, and I put him over Luka for MVP race in that aspect, or as an MVP candidate. But I think you're right there. I think Luka is one of those guys. He's got a little bit more popularity, I would say, than Ja, and he can potentially win it. Who do you think winning it this year? Who's going to be the popular guy this year?
I think Joker.
I don't think Joker. I don't think him.
I think health plays a factor in all of this. Obviously, health doesn't make sure, but I think Joker again because he's on a team that is the front runner, but do we have that team winning it all? It's never that team that's gonna MVP. The last couple of years, we always pick MVPs that seems like the team that can't win it all. I mean, Giannis was on that team, maybe that could have won it all. That when he won MVP, but
he won it twice, right? Because he won one MVP, then it's back at second MVP with a defensive player, right? Giannis won it twice.
I think so. I think he won it twice.
Yeah, he's a 2-time MVP.
He's so young too that he's won it, and then Joker has also won it twice.
Yep.
But it's a bit. The reason why it's closer this year than last year for the MVP race is because Murray's back, so he has another supporting cast to count on. So that's why we probably look at, like you mentioned, Ja and Luka winning MVPs, because they don't have supporting casts like these other. Like Giannis has Chris Middleton, and Embiid has Harden. I know you said Harden takes a step back, but he has Maxey there. And if we're looking for somebody to put in that boat as well with Luka, Ja, why couldn't Shea do it? It's maybe because his record's not as good, but Shea Alexander, Gilchrist, I mean,
killing it.
Absolutely.
Killing. I agree. I
Future
agree
Laker
with
there.
you. I hope so. I would hope so. But no, I agree with you in regards to the Luka boat, and potentially that's why he can win it. Because like we talked about this with the MVP, I just don't feel comfortable saying like the MVP voting is always right. And it's always because we've looked at it the last few times and guys that have been in a race. Like I like DeMar DeRozan in it that one year because he was scoring all those points back to back. And
Yeah.
he's a wing player. And a lot of times the guys that are wing players, shooting guards, point guards, those are the guys who'll get it a little bit more because those are who are being pumped or
Exactly.
marketed by the NBA a little bit more. And then Joker won it. And you're like, Joker won it? You're like, oh, okay, that's cool. I get it. But within that same year, I think Joel Embiid was runner up, and I thought Joel Embiid was actually better than Joker regarding playing defense, and he should have won it because his defense is a little bit better. But you go back, you can go.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. No, go ahead, please.
What turned me off to the MVP, we talked about this before, is when you put, they were looking more at stats, not the best valuable player, but more of stat line as well. So remember when Russ won it because of stats. When James Harden won it's because a lot of stats were there. Yep. And I look back at that and I go, you're telling me those two players are going to take over LeBron? When LeBron was a lot better than, like, he's still really good now, but he was better then. And I just sat there, I'm like, no, you're going to still take Bron. LeBron is the most valuable player, and he should be winning it every year. The fact of the matter was when he was with the Heat, he also had people around him, but I'm not sure who won MVP then. I can't remember. But it's one of those where it's like,
I think Steph.
So, yeah, it was just, it's one of those, in my opinion, where Braun, like, you look, it was like, that's where I started looking at the MVP a little bit different. I'm like, oh, MVP is based on also stats, not the most valuable player to the league. So that's,
or to their team. It's supposed to be the valuable player to the team, right? Because most valuable player to their team, and obviously you just said it, most valuable player to the league right now. Who's the biggest face? Who's bringing in the more money? Because Jordan won it, and everybody said, "Well, Jordan won like 5 of them bad boys or 6."
Yeah.
League MVPs, but you're like, yeah, but Jordan was like the face of it. He was the most valuable player for his team because he was killing everybody. And you knew the Bulls without Jordan were a lot easier to handle. But with Jordan, it's a whole different monster, whole different problem. So I don't think Bron got that kind of love like Jordan got that love in regards to like, oh, you can just be back to back in it, or you lose it one year, but then you get it again. Because Jordan even talked about it. The year he lost it, he thought he was going to win it. They gave it to somebody else, and he was hot. So next year he made it. He made it to where it was like, nah, bro, this is mine. Put my name on it. Send it to the house.
So I just want to make sure you're going to go out here and say this. Ja 2024 MVP, if healthy.
Yes, I will say that. I will go out and say that.
If he's not healthy, because Ja sometimes isn't healthy, we're not talking about like a 10-game miss here. We're talking about like a significant injury. Like I guess 10 games is a significant injury in the NBA.
Well, I was gonna say 10 games can turn around your whole.
Yeah.
I was gonna say 10 games can drop you from second to fourth in a real quick instance.
Yeah, we'll say significant injury then for any of our players for 2024. But I have you down, Irv, as Ja Morant 2024 MVP.
That's what I'm hoping. He's taken a lot of good leaps, man. His 3-point shooting has gotten better. I hope to see his mid range get a lot better because, and I mean like Dwayne Wade mid range, like DeMar DeRozan mid range, like those type of mid ranges. Kawhi Leonard, because he can't keep taking them falls, bro. He ain't built he built to be explosive and be a high flyer. But God, he be up there so long, and people be just undercutting him on accident or can't jump with him and knocking him out of the air. You just like, man, one of them explosive jumps can cost you, bro. So yeah.
I completely agree. And I looked for reasons earlier. You heard me in the show trying to look for reasons why Luka instead of him, and I struggled because I thought it was like maybe his assist. I thought he's more of a shoot first, but his assists not that much lower than Luka. So
I'll tell you like this: if Luka find a defensive coach to get his feet right, like get his hand placement, get him like playing the style of NBA defense this year, I don't think there's no way he won't win an MVP. He just does too much for his team. He's too valuable to his team. You can tell not only the point difference, but the attitude difference between his team when he's out there and when he's not out there. And if he can get, someone to say, hey, man, this is how you play better defense, position-wise, hand placement-wise, I ain't no reason he ain't going to take it. There's no, right now, that's the only knock you can say for Luka right now for not being number one for MVP is like he just don't play a quality amount of defense. That's it.
The good old Beluga whale. All right.